In Minecraft, bees are very useful, giving you access to all of the honey blocks and a whole bunch of really fun mechanics. In this video, I'll be going everything related to bees and honey. Get ready because this video is going to be amazing. In forests, you can find the bee nests rarely generating on the trunks of trees. The bee nests will have bees inside, and the bees will go about their day flying around, going in and out of the hive, and collecting pollen from flowers. If you destroy the beehive, you will get nothing except for a bunch of angry bees. Bees will sting you. A bee can only attack once. After losing its stinger, the bee will die after about a minute, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. If you want to successfully move a beehive without angering all of the bees, you are going to need a pickaxe enchanted with Silk Touch. You are able to mine the beehive and collect it without the bees getting angry. And the beehive will contain all of the bees that were inside of it when you mined it. And when you place your beehive back down, the bees will be able to come out and continue as usual. A bee nest can spawn naturally if you plant an oak, birch, or cherry sapling within 2 blocks of a flower. These trees will have a 5% chance to create a bee nest containing 2 to 3 bees. Each beehive can have up to 3 bees in total. If you ever need more bees, just feed a flower to 2 bees and you will have a little baby bee. Bees will fly around to collect pollen from flowers. This will be made into honey. Bees with pollen have a new texture, and when they enter the hive, they increase the honey level of the hive. There are 6 honey levels on a beehive. Once you get to the 6th honey level, it will start to overflow with honey. It'll look like this, and it is ready for harvest. When bees have pollen, they will drip some of the pollen onto the ground. Pollen that falls onto the ground will speed up the growth of any crops that are growing there. Once a beehive is filled with honey, you are now able to harvest it. However, if you just take the honey, then the bees will get angry at you. To safely harvest honey from a bee nest, you will need to go under it and place a campfire. Now, it's a good idea to cover the campfires up because the bees might fly into the campfire and get hurt. And now that we're filling the bee nests with the smoke from the campfire, we are able to safely harvest the honey. This can be done in 2 different ways. If we use a bottle on the bee nest, it will fill that bottle with honey. Drinking the honey bottle will restore 3 hunger points. The honey bottle is unique because you can even eat it when you are not hungry. And the other method of harvesting honey is by shearing it, and this will give you honeycomb. Both methods of harvesting honey can be done with the dispenser, allowing them to be automated. The honeycomb will be shot out of the bee nest, and the bottle in the dispenser will be filled with honey, staying in the dispenser. Now that we've got honey, what do we do with it? Over at the crafting table, placing 4 honeycomb will give us the honeycomb block. This block is purely decorative and doesn't have any uses outside of that. 1 honeycomb can also be combined with 1 string to create the candle, which is a really good light source that can come in many different colors. In order for the candle to emit light, it must be lit with a flint and steel or a fire charge, and then you can put them out just by clicking on them. The candle can also be placed on top of cakes, and don't worry, it'll pop off before you start to eat it. The amount of candles you have in 1 cube will increase the amount of light that it produces. Honeycomb can also be applied to copper blocks to keep them from oxidizing. Over time, regular copper blocks will oxidize, while your waxed copper blocks will stay nice and shiny. Now, what's really cool is if you grab 3 honeycomb and 6 planks and put them in a pattern like this, you'll be able to craft the beehive. The beehive block works exactly like the bee nest, except this one is artificial. You can craft as many beehives as you want. You'll have to get already existing bees to populate them, but these will make it much easier to make larger farms. The honey bottle can be crafted into 3 sugar, leaving the bottle in the crafting grid, and 4 honey bottles will give you the honey block, also leaving the bottles in the grid. Now, the honey block is where things get interesting. You probably know that honey is sticky. This is true in Minecraft. Not only do you go super slow, but you also can't jump very high. Just by placing a honey block on the ground, and then slabs above that, will make it so that this zombie cannot escape. Players, however, can walk out just fine, but a regular full block jump will not be possible. Honey blocks are also transparent, so you can see things through them. You might notice there's these kind of mini cubes inside the main overall block of honey, and you can actually walk inside of this thin 1 pixel space. If you are ever falling and then land on the side of a honey block, you will get the advancement sticky situation and slowly descend. This even works for items that you throw at your honey blocks, and this can make for some really cool item displays. The honey block is very similar to the slime block. Both the slime block and the honey block stick to nearby blocks and can bring them along when pushed or pulled by a piston. However, with honey blocks, instead of just being a yellow version of the slime block, they have a very unique use, which is that they are actually meant to be used together. The slime block and the honey block cannot stick to each other, which is very useful for building large flying machines and things like that. The honey block also does not conduct redstone. If you send a repeater pointing into it, it will not pass the signal through. Meanwhile, this does work for a slime block. Falling onto a honey block will also reduce damage dealt by 80%. And the last unique thing about the honey block that I'll be going over is that mobs and entities will move along with the honey if they are on top of it. Even working if there is a block like carpet on top, which will allow you to make some item conveyor belts. And that is everything you need to know about bees and honey. Make sure to subscribe in case you want to stick around for some more videos, and I shall see you in the next one.